What's up YouTube? Welcome back. Time for another really budget 22 long rifle review. This one actually shoots 22 WMR or 22 Magnum also. But what we have here is a 4 1/4 inch Heritage Rough Rider with the black pearl grips. And when I say budget, we're serious budget. I got this thing for right around $100 shipped. This one didn't come with a 22 Magnum cylinder with it, but it had a rebate for a 22 Magnum cylinder. This is an older one we have because I didn't get my rebate back yet, but that's at least probably with shipping. That's like a $30, $40, $50 savings right there just to get the other cylinder. And quite honestly, we run 22 Magnum through this thing all the time. Probably more than 22 long rifle. But as a 22 long rifle platform, this thing right here being the cheap thing that it is, it's really cool at what it does, and that's just, it shoots. It's gonna shoot as long as that hammer drops on a good round. You can use it on a trap line or to dispatch animals in traps. You can teach people how to shoot single action. You can just have fun with it. It's not super accurate, at least the ones that I've had, I can tell you that, but they're fun. So we'll put this one to the accuracy test. We'll put this one on steel. We'll use both cylinders. We're not gonna go through a whole bunch of ammo right now because it's a wheel gun and they'll shoot just about anything. But really fun gun. I just wanted to show it to you. And like I said, super cool, friendly budget option. Just in case you've ever been on the fence about buying one of these or not, we'll show you a little bit about it today, and maybe that'll help you with your decision. So for our quick overview of the firearm itself, we're talking cheap. I'm not joking cheap. We're almost talking toy store cheap. This thing has its finish already wearing off just from being in existence. I don't know how it got these scratches on it. It's fresh out of the box. And I will tell you right now, if you leave these outside and let them get dew on them, or you know, just let them condensate for any reason, get water, even drips of blood because you're dispatching things, that will rust these things up pretty quick. So right off the bat, just wanted to show you, it's not the greatest metal, but it'll hold up to things like 22 and 22 Magnum. We have some fake black pearl grips. This is probably just some sort of a plasticky thing. I'm not going to investigate them too far. They're smooth, so I don't like smooth grips on anything, but again, 22 Magnum, it's not like it's going to fly out of your hand. We have very cheap, well, not cheap, but very simple sights. So we have a front blade sight, and then we have gutter sights in the back. And I can tell you right now, you just have to get used to them. They're not like most sights that you've seen, where there's 3 dots or anything like that. When you put that center sight in there, you just have to get it just right for your specific firearm. This one here looks good, but I do have one that has one of the sides actually visibly elevated over the other one. So again, cheap manufacturing, but it works for what it is. These actually do come with a safety feature. You can turn a safety on or off, and that's actually kind of cool. I don't mind when 22s have safeties, especially when there's something that you might be carrying around for just a tool purpose. It's not really going to be a home defense gun or anything like that. It could be, but having the safety might be a good idea, especially if you're training kids. Now, the way you would load one of these firearms is you have to take it back to a half cock at least. A little bit more. There you go. So then you can open up the loading gate, and then you can start dropping your rounds in there one by one. And you make sure they're all the way in there or it won't turn. But that's how you load it. So then when you want to unload it, you have here an ejection rod. So just like you put your rounds in, you would push that ejection rod and push rounds out, or your empty cartridges. The biggest difference between the 22 long rifle cylinder and the 22 mag cylinder is there's no flutes. That's how you can easily tell them apart. But this one does say 22 WMR. To change this cylinder out, you would push this button right here and you would pull this rod out, and then you can just dump the cylinder right out and go ahead and install your new one. The hammer itself does have some good checkering in there that gives you a decent grip on it, and with the safety bar down, it will allow you to go ahead and fire the gun. That hammer will go completely forward. With the safety bar up, when you pull the trigger, you'll notice it does not connect all the way. So that's it. She's pretty simple. That's all there really is to her. You can get these things, like I said, in different configurations. You can get a barrel that's all the way out here to 16 inches, or you can get the barkeep version with a 1-inch little tiny barrel. Whatever kind of grips you like, they're easy to come by. Pretty cool, like I said, for the money. You could spend a little bit more than double and get a Ruger Wrangler, and you'll get about a little bit more than double quality. But for a lot of us, this will do good enough. Now, could you use this as a home defense tool? Absolutely. As long as you make sure that it runs, you keep it in good working order, you test your ammunition, yeah, you can put this on the shelf and you could use this as a home defense tool for someone that might be a little bit recoil sensitive, but they still understand revolvers. There's a lot of, let's say, older generation people out there that know revolvers, but they don't want to shoot a .357, but you go ahead and give them 22 Magnum, almost no recoil, and it's usable. And at home defense distances, like we're hopefully going to be able to show you, these things are accurate enough. You won't be doing a speed reload, but at least you'll get 6 shots on something. As far as hunting, I don't know. If you're really super accurate with it, possibly. As far as varmint control, yeah, possible. I have used these with CCI mini shells, and I've hit varmints that are not in traps. Not every time, but enough of the times. We'll run 2 different ammunitions to this gun today. For the 22 long rifle, it will be a black copper plated M22. Value pack, wall ground, whatever you want to call it. Pretty good stuff. It runs in most semi-automatics. I have a lot of it, so I definitely want to use that in here if possible. For the 22 Magnum, we have some A22. It's made for a specific Savage firearm, but it doesn't really matter. We run these through these cylinders all the time. Enough talking, let's get to shooting. All right, to get her loaded up, we'll go to half cock, open up the loading gate, and we'll go ahead and start stuffing in some of these M22s. We'll get 5 of them in there. Like I said, you got to really make sure they're seated or it's not going to want to turn the cylinder. And then once you've got it all loaded up, one more. Go ahead and close her up. She's ready to go. We can throw the safety on, or we could have already had the safety on, whatever you want to do, but let's go ahead and shoot steel. All right, we're about 20 feet off that steel, not too far away, but good enough to check our initial accuracy. This is the first shot going through this revolver. I'm going to level off those sights, and I'm going to try to shoot it perfectly. Let's see where it actually ends up. That ended up exactly where I was aiming at, right there in the center of that target. That's pretty cool for the first shot to hit like that. Always happy when they're accurate out of the box. Ooh, I just clipped the edge of that one. Shooting too fast. All right, let's look at that real quick. So it turns out that this is one of the more accurate ones. I got them all stacked in there and I just clipped the edge one time. Let's move back a little bit and see if we still get that same luck. All right, now we're about 40 feet back from the target. Let's see if things still keep in line for us. That was probably definitely me pulling it to the left a little. All right, let's look at that. Definitely not as accurate for me at that distance, but we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we did at least hit the zone. We just didn't get the precise zone. That's what you're going to get out of this gun with those gutter sights, is that as you get farther away, this thing's going to become a little bit more wild on you. This thing's not for practicing your 100-yard shots, that's for sure. But you saw there at about 20, 25 feet. Spot on, pretty cool. All right, we've gone ahead and switched out for the 22 Magnum cylinder. Let's go ahead and put these little soft points, just the very tip of those are exposed. They're actually pretty cool little hunting rounds. There we go. All right, back at a close 20 feet again from that steel target. Remember, this is single action only. You can't pull the trigger on this at all. It's actually, that's what I said about training people. It's a pretty safe gun because you can't just pull the trigger and make it go off. You have to pull the hammer back. You do have a slightly sensitive trigger after that, but really good for learning. Got that one pretty much in the center. So that's the 22 mag going off. You can feel it a little bit more. There's just a little bit more blast escaping out of the cylinder gap. You don't really feel recoil. You just hear more noise, but it has a definite velocity increase over 22 long rifle. That one I kind of pulled. That was a little flashy, but I hit high on that one. And that one I got off to the side too. There we go, that one was back in the center, and I think that was it. Yep, let's take a look. So with those gutter sights, it's easy to screw up a little bit, but if you do take your time, you should be able to get in there. I'm gonna actually put this on paper now, and let's see how accurate I can get on a B8 target. All right, same cylinder, same ammunition, 22 Magnum. We're about 20 feet off that target. I'm gonna take my time, and I'm gonna try to get them into the X-ring. I'm not sure. It's always different once you put black sights on a black target, but a little high into the left. And that was it. Let's take a look. All right, we got 6 shots. I did pull one up here, or the gun threw one up there, one or the other, but it was probably something to do with me and the sights. I got one in the X, I got a couple close, and I'm still in the 10 ring with all of them except for that one. So I'll take that. That's this gun with those type of gutter sights trying to look at a black target. So pasties, those little orange true glow things or whatever they're called, those things will help you out if you're shooting these kind of targets with these kind of sights. But that's why I said this is not exactly a good one for hunting. For home defense, yeah, you can put that where it needs to be. But for hunting, I'm not going to say, you'd have to be like 10 feet away from a squirrel or something to actually make sure you hit them. And I'm going to actually show you the accuracy at 10 feet because it drops off from that 10 to 20 really quick. I'm going to go straight for that X. I'm 10 feet away. We have one hole in the X already. Still going with 22 Magnum. All right, there we go. Let's look at that. So at 10 feet away, we put all those shots right here. One of those shots came a little bit to the edge, but I mean, that's the difference of 20 feet, well, 20 feet and 10 feet. You can definitely hit what you're aiming at. I held just a hair on. I would say that the top of that front sight was floating right about here to get those shots. So you aim just a touch under to get where you want to be. This one, probably just me, and this one me on the sights again, but that's good enough for varmint hunting, something in the garden, maybe rabbit size. I mean, think about the size of a rabbit. Yeah, you can do that. And I want to show you something that's going on today with this firearm for us. Maybe it's time to clean the cylinder, but with the 22 Magnums, some ammunitions can be a little sticky in the cylinder. That one was pretty sticky. That one came out decently, a little bit harder. The one that I did before this, that cylinder was really hard to get everything out of. But this one's not too bad, but you do have to pop them. Any bulk 22 or 22 rimfire can be pretty dirty, so you would want to clean that cylinder out, especially if you're going to do, like I said before, shoot 22 long rifle out of the 22 Magnum cylinder, because you'll get, just like with 38, you'll get a little bit of a carbon ring, and then when you put the longer cartridge in, it might stick a little bit on you. Speaking of that, just to show you what we're talking about, I'm going to go ahead and load up 5 rounds of 22 long rifle in the 22 Magnum cylinder and just show you how that impacts steel. All right, M22 22 long rifle going into the Magnum cylinder. We have 6 of them in there all together. We're going to go for that lower bottom plate right there to the right. Impact a little high. We had at least one that was kind of wild. Let's look. So definitely not a good point of aim, point of impact situation, but again, within center of mass type of things. I'll show you what'll happen to the rounds if it's what typically happens to the rounds. So they'll usually be blown out and cracked, and there you go. So we have a 22 case that the 22 Magnum cylinder is just a little bit larger than the 22 long rifle, so it gives it room to expand and blow out. Like I said, we don't reload that or anything, and in a pinch, you could definitely do it. That one did not blow out, but I think you can probably see in my hand how it expanded. So not at the very bottom, but in the starting right after about the first, I don't know, 3 or 4 millimeters, you'll see that it gets expanded. And there's another one that's split up towards the neck instead of the middle of the body. But I can promise you where this thing absolutely shines is just as a tool. Leave it in your tackle box, leave one extra one in your vehicle, whatever. It's good for dispatching things. In the traps, when you catch a raccoon or a possum or whatever you need to do something to, it's really easy to get up and close and personal and take that shot you need to. Varmint has been dispatched. And it's just a really great training aid for anybody, not only new shooters, but seasoned shooters or people that are trying to learn revolvers. Revolver ammunition gets pretty expensive. 22 long rifle is not. You can practice getting your grip on the firearm, getting your proper, this is my opinion of a proper, thumb over grip here on a revolver. You can practice hammering, shooting, hammering, shooting, hammering, shooting, and so on. You can just build that muscle memory like that very cheaply. So conclusion, for my turkey's opinion, totally honest, no BS review, I'd say go for it. You can't beat the price, especially if you got a rebate for a cylinder, or if you can find a used one, you get them even cheaper usually, including the extra cylinder sometimes. But to be able to shoot cheap little 22 out of a semi-decent revolver, I like it a lot. Like I said, whether it's a tool or a training aid or just something you want for whatever reason. They make those 16-inch barrel ones. I don't know why I would want it, but it's cheap enough where you can afford it if you just want something different, weird, or cool. They hardly ever malfunction. If they do, it's usually user error because you're just not doing something with a single action revolver properly, but that teaches you. Every time you make an error, you learn from it, and you learn how to handle firearms better and better. For anybody that's going to cry about having a safety, hey, I understand some people don't want safeties on firearms, but it is good for when you are teaching children, and if you're going to use it for something like dispatching varmints in a trap, you don't need it to be ready to go all the time. You can throw the safety on, keep it on an empty chamber, you're double safe. You can literally throw this thing in your pocket, walk around the woods, and pull it out if needed. Keep your EDC totally separate. That's on your belt, whatever. This can just be a tool. And another reason that these things are awesome because they're cheap is that you can customize them cheaply. Do whatever you want. And what are you going to do? Ruin a $100 gun or a $120 gun? You got grips, aftermarket grips all over the place for these things. Heck, you can take spray paint to these things. You can do whatever you want to these things. Make them your little zombie 22, whatever you want, and it's not going to cost you a fortune. And if you do something wrong, heck, you're out $100. I am in no way, shape, or form affiliated with Heritage. I just think it's a pretty cool product. I don't think it's a great quality product, but it's an okay product at that price point. That's all I really have for you on this one. Quick, simple, and honest. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoy these types of videos. Check out our playlist. We do all kinds of things, not only gun reviews. That's actually pretty minor. We do all kinds of ammo testing. We show you some really cool guns, a whole bunch of different calibers that a lot of people, they don't even mess with. So check out the playlist, maybe hit subscribe, share this video with someone else who might like it. Thanks again for watching, and until we see you next time, stay safe, have fun, and keep shooting.